Hello, welcome to another episode of Camposol Through Time. This week, we're looking back in time at the medieval era around Camposol area, how people lived under the different rulers, and some of the evidence we can see today. To help us relive our own local Game of Thrones is our very own historian and time traveller, Antonio Hernandez Benitez. Antonio, welcome back.
Thank you.
Glad you could come. This is a period of history which is really rich as far as developing how we see Spain today. Because we're looking back at sort of the transition between the Moorish occupancy and then the Christians, about 13th century?
In this area, yes, in 13th century.
Okay, so paint us a picture of what it was like in the Matheron area, and we'll say Matheron because clearly Camposol wasn't there at the time.
Exactly.
The Matheron area in those sort of days.
Well, we are talking about the 12th, 13th century, is when the Kingdom of Murcia is a Muslim independent kingdom. They started to have war with the neighbors, which were the Castilla, especially the Castilla Kingdom and the Aragon Kingdom. Okay, Castilla wanted to have an exit to the Mediterranean Sea. In those days, Aragon is conquering all the east of Spain and is approaching actually Murcia. Okay, it's already started the war with Murcia and taking over Orihuela and different areas in Alicante, which they used to belong to the Kingdom of Murcia. And it's actually in the 13th century when Alfonso X is conquering the region of Murcia, but so not all the region actually.
So the region of Murcia was under Moorish control.
Yes, of course.
So if we're going to draw a picture of where the Moorish control was through Spain, because they didn't go all the way through Spain, did they?
They did actually even cross the border to France.
Oh, they did. Actually, on the Mediterranean side.
But they lost quite easily or quite soon actually in the really north of Spain, in the areas of the Basque Country and Asturias especially and Cantabria, which there are plenty of mountains and as well because of the weather and so on, they couldn't conquer all this area completely. Okay, so this is the beginning.
Is this just a supply line issue? It's too far a supply line too long from obviously from Morocco where they came from. So they had that up until the 1200s ish.
Around
and they'd had the empire all the way up. And then what happened? What was their decline? How was their decline?
Well, basically the Al-Andalus kingdom, actually they split in different small kingdoms. Okay, there were around 27 small kingdoms. Murcia was one of them. And they were not fighting all together like the Christians. The Christians, they used to fight between them sometimes, but majority they have an alliance between Castilla, Aragon, Portugal, to conquer the whole Iberian Peninsula, right? This was the main idea. But the Muslims, majority of them, they used to fight each other. For instance, when the Christians are near Mazaron, okay, one of the alliated forces of the king of Castilla, Alfonso X, is going to be actually the Muslim kingdom of Granada. Okay.
Right, because the castle in Granada, I went there about 2 years ago.
The Alhambra Palace.
Alhambra. Which obviously is an Arabic derivation, so it was originally a Moorish castle.
Many words actually in the Spanish vocabulary, plenty of words they are coming from the Arabic language, and majority of the words which started with al, actually they are coming actually from the Muslim language. Alhama, for instance. Almeria. Mazaron used to be called Al-Mazaron.
Oh, okay.
Okay, during the Muslim times, it's actually called Al-Mazaron.
Because I think al is the Arabic word for the. It's the Matheron,
something
the Maria,
like that, yes.
The Alhama.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
For instance, the Guadalentin River, which is the closer to Camposol or Mazaron, actually Wadi means river in Arabic. So many rivers in the south of Spain, they will have the beginning of the name actually Wadi.
Ah, okay. So there's lots of links with that era, and it wasn't the culture and the language. They weren't annihilated by a change of regime. Let's say the Christians. So a lot of that was carried through. Whether it was farming techniques, language.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's so much that carried through that sort of 13th century as a time of political upheaval, but was it a time of cultural upheaval as well? Did people change their lives?
Well, at the beginning, not really. Mazaron, when the Christians are taking over, okay, there is no actually there is no the obligation for the population to change the religion or the language. They will carry on with their own way of living, as they used to do in different centuries. It's actually later on when the kingdom of Spain is created, when the population is going to be forced to change everything. into the Catholic side, no, into the Christian side. Okay, but in those days, at the really beginning, no, but actually the population, they are going to suffer plenty of different things because of the war. There will not be big battles in Mazarrón area, but actually close to Mazarrón there will be battles. So this will affect as well the population here.
And these were with the sort of the local enclaves of Moorish families,
Exactly.
and the new sort of the Christian front that was coming down.
When the Christians are coming to Mazarrón or Almazarrón in those days, they don't find big cities like they used to be, like for instance in Lorca, or even Alhama was bigger than Almazarrón. No? So what they are going to find basically is like rural areas with small fortresses and a small, very low defense lines. Okay, so that's why they will conquer quite easily. But as I said, the battles actually, there will be big battles, especially in the area of Lorca, which they will affect as well the population around here.
So obviously we're all familiar with the big castle at Lorca. Was that originally a Moorish castle, or was it originally built by the Christians when they came down?
No. It was basically, well, it was actually the city itself. It used to be inside the castle.
On top of the hill?
On top of the hill.
Yeah.
99% of the city was inside the premises of the castle. And it originally was made by the Muslims. And actually, it's later on when the Christians take it over, when they built actually the towers and different other things, to show somehow the power, no? Who is now ruling the area. No?
Oh, it's a real statement piece, isn't it?
Exactly.
You look across from sort of the southeast at it, across the plains, and this massive
castle. No, you see the tower, especially the tower.
In the day, must have been a real sort of presence of power.
Exactly. This is what the Christians they used to make. You know, like they used to make especially this particular tower where the Lord used to be. Okay, the Lord of the castle used to be there. Funny enough, Lorca later on is going to be part of the Fajardo family, which is going to be the Vélez. Probably sounds you familiar. The
Vélez, yeah, I've heard of Vélez.
Vélez Blanco, Vélez Rubio, Vélez Málaga.
Ah, there's two villages, isn't it? Vélez Rubio
Exactly.
and Vélez Blanco.
Vélez Blanco is going to be the big castle where the headquarters of the Fajardo family is going to be. And they used to run as well Mazarrón. Okay, so they used to run a big extension of territory in Spain, the south of Spain. And they will contribute to the conquer of Granada as well, because they will not only have Mazarrón or Lorca under the power or control, as well they will have the areas of Almería, okay, different areas, and as well they will conquer, for instance, Vélez Málaga, which is actually in Málaga area. They will have even this city for them under the control.
So what was their aim to sort of, was Granada one of the last strongholds?
Exactly.
And they wanted to sort of to go round that from the south from Almeria, and then from the north, and then obviously from the east from our area.
They were actually the idea of the kings in Spain was to conquer the whole Iberian Peninsula, to have it as well under the Christian ruling. Okay, and obviously Granada was quite difficult to conquer because not only because of the mountains as well, they were quite organized with castles and so on, which they already started here in Murcia region. This defense of Granada Kingdom. That's why the Fajardo family, they will control specifically this area, trying to stop the Granada influence into different areas of the southeast of Spain.
There's an actual geographical route through. If you go from Alhama to Totana, and then Lorca, and then you carry on to Puerto, I think it's called. But that is a valley, and you take that valley, and that valley goes all the way.
All the way to Granada.
All the way to Granada, and it's like a natural roadway.
And one of the things that actually was important for the Fajardo family in those days, to be able as well to carry on conquering and so on, it was economically. Economically, they need areas not only for agriculture and so on, as well, for instance, Almazarrón was quite important because of the mining. So to have the mines under control of the Christian side, it was quite important for the economy of keep the army going for those days.
Of course, they needed metal for swords and arrows and
many other things, as well for selling to get proper, well, economically, to get an income to be able to pay the expenses of the army.
Yeah, because the mines have been there since Roman times. I mean,
even before.
And before, that's for another show. But it all links together.
Yes.
So the castle, I've always wondered about this because I only realised it was there about 2 years ago, and I've been here 7 years. There's a castle in Mazarrón,
exactly,
on top of a hill. There's a little fort and a windmill sort of fort, lookout fort, but there is a big castle there. You can't get into it now, but that castle, was this part of the medieval story?
Yes, actually, it's actually going to be more important, or it's going to be rebuilt and making it even bigger when the Fajardo family is ruling all this area. Okay, when the Vélez actually is actually the Marquis of the Vélez, they're going to be running as well.
That's like a lordship, a sort
Exactly.
of a real sort of high up position, the Marquis.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they're going to build actually to be able to defend the mines and the industry of Mazarrón area. They will build this castle and they will have a permanent over there, like a small army presence, you know, to be able to as well to defend the coastline from the attacks of the Muslims.
So there are a couple of medieval towers along the coastline. I think there's
Exactly.
one at the end towards Cartagena, but at the end of the road it's called not Isla Plana, the next one.
La Zoya.
La Zoya. And there's a tower there.
Exactly.
Is this from the same sort of era?
They will build it later on.
Okay.
Okay, but actually it belongs to this defensive line. Actually, there is one in Bolnuevo, the tower of the church. Actually, was one next to the Hotel La Cumbre. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And there used to be another one as well in the coastline, which we don't have it anymore, and the one in La Zoya. They will have to build it because of the attacks of the
And
Muslim
most of the
pirates.
attacks would be coming from the sea.
Exactly.
Pirates and
Pirates, majority pirates.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that's why like many of these, it was quite important, especially later on, no? After the conquer of the Christians of the area, they will start suffering these attacks of the pirates. Okay. But actually, it's the Fajardo family, the one who is going to run Mazarrón until a few centuries ago. Okay, and actually, because of that, this Christian process, okay, the population, they're gonna change completely eventually, until they will become completely Christian, all the population in Mazarrón area.
And the Vélez family, how long did they sort of reign? Was it a reign, would you say? Would it be sort
Something
of
like that, yes.
looking after, how many years, how
Well,
many centuries would
the
they
most
be?
important for them, it was actually the 15th century, is the time where the industry of the mines is going to become very, very important for them. But they will carry on until a little bit later, when Mazarrón actually will become independent, and they will come, and the king, the Philip II, is going to create Mazarrón as an independent district or territory. Okay. So around the 15th century, 16th century is actually when the Vélez family is going to be controlling totally this area, or completely this area.
So that's sort of in parallel with early Tudor times for the UK. Sort of, I think it was more 16th century Tudor times, but it's just before that, just to get a perspective of when it was. Still a long time ago.
Well, yes.
But they ruled for quite a long time.
Oh,
so
yeah,
a couple
yeah,
of
for
hundred
sure.
years.
For sure.
And I like the fact there's evidence still around here in the castles and the little turrets and things, and you can see them all around. And this area's gone through huge cultural change. So the relics of the Moorish culture, we can see that pretty much everywhere. You've talked about the language with the Guadalete and the Guadalete rivers, and of course the names of the cities. Al, we're starting with Al. What are the sort of, was there any sort of legacy of farming or legacy of agriculture or anything like that that was brought over by the Moors, which was efficient and profitable, that was continued, or was it changed back to the Christian sort of way?
Well, they carry on, no? Because when the Christians they conquer all this area, basically what is happening is going to start a process of Christianization of the area. Okay, so majority of the families they will change, voluntary or not, they will change the religion, name, and so on, and traditions into the new Christian traditions, and of course they will carry on.
So it wasn't a case of
traditional
pushing
way.
the Moors out and all the Moroccans went back. It was just integrating that culture of Christianity
Exactly.
with the people that already lived here.
It's especially after the 15th century when the whole population is going to be Christian, or is going to be forced to become Christian, no, in the whole Spain. But around this area, actually, those families, obviously, because they've been already, Murcia has been conquered before Granada, they have already like a couple of centuries of experience of living under the Christian ruling, and many of them they are already Christians, and they carry on actually with the old traditions, as you say, like about agriculture, about farming, about many other things that actually we have it nowadays in our traditions. You know, like for instance, food or plenty other things that we have, expressions in our language, plenty of words that we still have in our language, and of course the way of agriculture, like with especially adapted into the desert, no, and into the dry areas like this area.
So they brought across some of like crops and things, and we've kept them since that in Spain. And
oh yeah, for sure. One of the examples is the oranges and lemons. Actually, or rice, for instance, is going to be brought by the Muslim in Spain. Actually, it's not something casual. Like the majority of the production of oranges are actually in Valencia and lemons in Murcia. Okay, this is actually
and this is brought by the Moors.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Even though the citrus fruit, I think we learned a couple of weeks ago, came from the Far East.
Exactly.
So it would have come through the Silk Route, the Far East, across North Africa, and then up into Spain.
Yes, think about in the
It's
year
a journey,
one,
isn't it?
It's a big
Think
journey.
about how that sort of flows.
Yeah, but in those days they used to have this phenomenon of the globalization. It's nothing new already.
No.
Okay, it was already in those days. Think about in the year 1000, Cordoba is the biggest city in Europe. Okay, Cordoba is going to be really, really important, and it's going to be the capital of the Al-Andalus, and it's actually they're going to have their own caliphate, their own control of the Muslim religion here in Cordoba as well.
Yeah.
So they have plenty of wealthy economy. They have a very good economy, and they will import plenty of different things from different countries. You know,
One already have the supply line.
Oh yes, and one of the things actually they brought into Spain, it was as well plenty of women as dancers or singers from India and Pakistan, and actually this is one of the origins of the flamenco as well.
Was it really? So that culture, because obviously when you look at the sort of the Arab-speaking world across North Africa and going into the Middle East, that's not far, obviously, from through Afghanistan and Pakistan.
Exactly.
It's quite a close, and that Silk Route coming through was the main route from everything.
The end of the Silk Route, somehow it was Cordoba actually in the year 1000. And it's funny because all those things are coming from Asia. Actually, they mix with local things or local cultures or local groups. You know, one of the groups actually is going to be the Gypsies, the Gypsy culture. They have a big presence actually here in Mazarón. They are a big number, and a big number in the south of Spain. And this is not casual. No? This is because of all this mix of history that we have around here, you know, coming through generations and so on. And well, this is one of the reasons why we are so rich, no, in history.
And it is fantastic finding out about that, because we've done so many programs on different aspects of the history and the culture, and it's only when you just go slightly under the surface you see so much more. And I find it fascinating. I love doing a show with you because I find it fascinating, and every week I learn something totally new.
Thank you.
And I'll go for a drive and I'll say, that's what he's talking about. It really is fascinating. Thank you very much, Antonio.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure talking about this. We've only just skimmed the surface. I know it's such a depth of subject, but we've covered the surface, and maybe you can dig a bit deeper and find something that you want to look at, whether it's medieval or any time through history. Thanks very much for watching Camposol Through Time. We'll be here at the same time next week, and don't forget, if you want to watch any of the other episodes we've done, they're all on YouTube. If you go to the Camposol TV YouTube channel and then look for playlists, you'll see the previous 20 now, something like that.
Something
episodes.
like that.
20 episodes, you'll see the previous 20 episodes, and you can catch up if you missed them the first time. It's always fascinating with Antonio, and thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Antonio.
Thank you.
Absolutely brilliant again.
Thank you.
Cheers.